What's up, guys? You know who it is. This one here is a video on toolboxes. I don't, I'm not, it won't be long, so hopefully you guys watch the whole video in its entirety. So you guys would have seen that I recently purchased this 84-inch Husky box for $250 off of highbit.com, won the auction, put one single bid in and got it. When we got it picked up, it had some road rash on it. I was told that a fork truck during the unloading process backed into it, and that was a pretty substantial impact that it sustained. And you can kind of see all of the scuff marks. And if you go back in some of my other videos that I recently released, you'll see the damage when we first brought it home. Now I've gone through and kind of banged out some of the dents here and there, did a little bit of body work on it. I haven't painted it yet. I do intend to paint some of the road rash areas up a little bit just to kind of smooth things out, so it's not so glaring. And as you see there, that big void, I need to order 2 new drawers for it. This box is only a year old. It is basically new. It's never had an owner. It was literally brought to the distribution center and it was damaged at that time. Some of the comments I received a lot of comments. 95% of them or more were positive, and they said, "Hey, great deal, fantastic deal, whatever." Because it's $250. These boxes retail for $1,498. Now, keep in mind, I'm not quiet about the fact that I am not a mechanic. So for me to spend 10 grand or 5 grand or even 3 grand on a used Snap-on or a new Snap-on box or Matco or Cornwell Mac, whatever have you, doesn't make a lot of sense. In my opinion, it doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of people. The reason why I say that is because in today's world, I keep in mind, if you have a Toolbox tour video on YouTube, I've seen it. I pretty much watch everybody's content, not only just to simply show support to people, but also to kind of understand what people are buying and what tools they have, why they have what they have, and trying to understand what I should consider buying myself. That's the only way you learn, is by someone showing you or telling you, right? So I've built my setup based upon that. It's taken me about 4 or 5 years to do it, but we've got it done. And so it doesn't make a lot of sense in my mind for anyone really to go out and spend $10,000 or more, $5,000 or more on a box, especially if you're financing that box. Now, if you are paying cash for it and you own it straight out, then kudos to you. You got the money. I assume you're not in debt elsewhere, so go ahead and go for it. But most people are getting on the trucks and they are financing this either through the truck credit or through Snap-on credit or some type of credit system that one of the manufacturers offers. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Here's the reason why, in my opinion. This is an opinion-based video. So you spend that kind of money in a box, and in most shops today, no one's going to be pushing around a big box like this. This is fairly close to what traditional boxes today look like in terms of the size, what they come with, the hutch and a side locker. A lot of guys will just simply have a bottom piece, but nonetheless, you're not going to be pushing that around from bay to bay. Most people today, from what I've seen, work from service carts, whether it be a small service cart similar to what I have shown here, or whether it be a roll cart like your KRS or KRC series, whatever they're called, from Snap-on. I had a Matco 773, I had a Matco 770. I've had them both, and I even have a smaller one over in my other shop. So most people in a shop setting work from service carts, and that's primarily because they need to be able to move from bay to bay, especially if they're not assigned to a specific bay, and they're going to be moving around. Some shops have very well maintained, whereas some other shops are not, meaning that the floors are bad, et cetera, et cetera. And if you have a lot of tools, you're not going to be lugging around. Like that box there, it's like 600 some pounds dry. This box is like over 600 pounds dry. So once you load in as many tools as like I have, you're talking well over 1,000 pounds. You're not pushing that around the shop. So people work from service carts. So that being said, why would you go out if you're going to work from a service cart, and that service cart is going to pretty much have everything that you need to do most jobs on a day-to-day basis, only go into your main box for things that are not used very often. Most mechanics know, based upon the type of work that they're doing, whether heavy line or whatever the case may be, they know what tools they should have in their box based upon the type of jobs they get in on a daily basis. So they've already had it outfitted. Why would you go out and spend 10 grand on a box that's going to sit there and look pretty, house some tools that you don't really use that often, and not be really making you money? In my opinion, if you're going to have a box to work out of, it should be making you money, meaning that it's holding your tools that you're using on the daily, it's keeping everything clean, protected, organized, etc. I'm not going to go into debt by spending 5 or 10 grand on a box that's just going to sit this whole life, and only be open up to get things out periodically. So I just don't see the need for that, especially from a DIYer perspective. But I also don't see the need of it for a mechanic. Now, if you're in a shop where you are assigned to a production or a line, a service line, and you're not moving, then okay, maybe it makes sense. But pretty much every mechanic that I've seen on YouTube and in real life, that I see on a daily, they are working from a service cart. It makes the most sense, and they're more affordable. You can finance a service cart for a couple grand or less. You can buy one off of Facebook Marketplace. There's several different sites you can get them from. They're really easy to obtain. And so to go in debt with a big, huge box doesn't quite make a lot of sense. Now, granted, you may say, well, I have a lot of specialty tools, which once again, I do as well. I've really invested heavily in this past 3 to 6 months. I mean, I've got a lot of specialty tools, all types of testers and scan tools and gauges and meters and you name it. I've got it too. I understand. It's not in there, but let's see here. I got stuff there, stuff there, stuff there. There's more cases, and I have more cases even on the side. So I get it. I get it that you may have a lot of stuff. You can get away with a Husky box or some other aftermarket or mid-tier, low-tier box, like a US General or something like that, for far less money if it's simply going to hold your tools. I jokingly say that a toolbox is like a purse for a man. You put a bunch of shit in there and you let it sit, and you reach in and grab things as you periodically as you need it. Same thing with women's purses. Women use their purses more than some guys use their toolboxes in terms of going in and out of it on the daily. And women buy really expensive purses to show them off. That's the same reason that guys buy really expensive boxes. Don't lie, that's what it is. Everybody wants a shiny thing, right? They want to have the shiny car, shiny truck, shiny toolbox, etc. I get it. I'm just saying that don't give people a hard time if they decide to go with something a little bit cheaper, more economical. Because after all, if you're not working in and out of it every single day, it's not making you money. It's just simply holding tools. Because if that's the case, you could have a damn box or a bucket filled with a bunch of tools, and it literally will serve the same purpose, excluding a hutch, as a really expensive box. So that is why I decided to go with something like this. I didn't see the need to buy a really expensive box. Well, I can certainly afford it, but I would not want to go out and make that investment. So what do I have invested here? I have $1,200 on that box there and $250 on that box. So $1,450 is all that I have invested on these two boxes. I'm not going to tell you that the Husky is the best, cheap box you can buy. There's certainly things that I don't like about them. You guys have seen all my videos. I've been fairly upfront about that. But from my situation, it makes a lot of sense. They've held up. And you guys know my socket jar. I always tend to show you guys the socket jar because people love seeing it. But there's not a lot of people that have the amount of weight and content in their socket jar as me. And I know these slides are holding up really, really well. The soft close mechanism still works on it. And I'm not in and out of it every day. And a lot of people will say, well, you're not in and out of it every day. That's probably why it's still holding up. That is true. I'm not in and out of it every day. But for the amount of weight, I've had no issues with the bearings. Everything slides like it should. The jar is not warped. It handles, the box handles the weight very, very well. And I can have multiple jars open at a time and there's relatively no issues with this particular box. So that being said, that is why I decided to go with something a little cheaper. And it's my birthday present. That was the other thing too. I wanted something for myself. I have a family, so I don't really like buying a lot of things for me in terms of spending a lot of money. So this was something that I felt like I wouldn't feel guilty by buying it because it was a low price. So I was fine with that. I've chosen to invest heavily in tools in terms of the quality of tools that I own. I don't have a lot of junk stuff. I do have some stuff that is lower tier, I won't lie to you. Things that I use once in a blue moon. I don't tend to spend a lot of money on it. A good example of that would be these sockets here. These are just regular Amazon sockets. I think one of them is like a Stillman Pro and the other one's like ABN, Auto Body Now or something like that. I've got a lot of Capri stuff. I've got some Nico stuff. I've got some Gear Wrench, Olsa Tools. Those are brands that it doesn't cost a lot of money to own them, but I also have a lot of high-end stuff. I have, Mac, and I have Snap-on. I've got SK, I've got Right Tool. I've got a good variety of high-end tools. So in my opinion, spend your money where it makes money. If you're going to invest in something, you wouldn't invest in anything in life that's not going to have a good ROI. So whether you tend to sell it, liquidate it, or if you tend to use it and keep it to make you money, it should be, you should invest properly with it. And so that's what I've done. I've invested properly with the tools. And in my opinion, if I needed to liquidate them, I could liquidate them and get more money than what I could get if I tried to sell a Gear Wrench or a Capri or an Olsa Tools on the aftermarket. So I chose to go that route. I think that's a smarter route to go. Don't be so wrapped up in getting these fancy boxes that shine and glisten and have lights and all this other kind of stuff. And you're like sitting there sharing it with everybody. Meanwhile, you're drowning in debt. You know what I mean? Because you're paying $100 or more a week for that box just to look good and just sit there. And then you're still working out of a service cart. Just does not make sense. In my opinion, it does not make sense. So once again, like I said, it's just a opinion-based video. I would love to get you guys' feedback on it. Hopefully I don't piss anybody off, but hey, I'm just giving you my opinion. We're all entitled to our own opinions. They're like assholes. Everybody has one. And so, that's the way it is. But I would love to get you guys' input on that. And like I said, this box is working out great for me thus far. It's got the surface area that I need. It's got the capacity in terms of being able to hold everything that I need to put in it. And I got to get 2 new drawers, so I'll have a couple $100 or so wrapped up in drawers. And that'd be fine as well. I don't even know what I'm going to put in them because they're so thin, but we can't have that big gap like that. That doesn't look right. So, but we'll get that all worked out as well, and we'll get a Husky badge for it there as well because I didn't get that. But yeah, give me your opinion on it, guys, and let me know what you think. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram. Make sure that you leave a like on this video. Make sure that you click that bell. Make sure that you are subscribed. For Christ's sakes, please make sure you're subscribed. And leave a comment. I really want to know, and I'm going to pick from the comment section what people say, and I'm going to share those comments. I won't share your name if you don't want that, but I will share what feedback we've got, and then we'll have a follow-up video to this video. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.